It was a Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. sharp, when a knock on my door jolted me out of my coffee routine. I wasn't expecting anyone, so seeing a uniformed officer on my porch, clutching an official-looking envelope, made my stomach lurch. He cleared his throat, his expression a mix of duty and unease. "Are you the owner of a golden retriever named Max?" he asked. My heart sank. Had something happened to my dog? With a hesitant nod, I took the envelope, my hands already trembling. The officer gave me a sympathetic glance before turning away, vying me to unravel the mystery. Inside was something I never could have imagined, a restraining order against Max, my 3-year-old golden retriever. I read it aloud, my voice shaking with disbelief. The defendant, one golden retriever named Max, is hereby ordered to stay at least 50 feet from the petitioner's property due to aggressive behavior or an intimidation tactics. Aggressive? Max. The dog who'd sooner lick a stranger's face than growl? I looked at the officer's retreating figure, half hoping he'd turn back and say it was a prank. No such luck. Then I saw the petitioner's name, Linda Grayson, president of our HOA. Of course, it was Linda. My wife, Emily, and I had moved to Willow Creek Estates 6 months earlier, drawn by the quiet streets and manicured lawns. It seemed like the perfect place to settle with Max, our sunny-dispositioned golden retriever. Max was more than a pet, was my emotional support animal, a lifeline since I returned from military service overseas. He had this uncanny knack for sensing my anxiety, nudging his warm, furry head against me until the world felt right again. The neighbors adored him. Old Mrs. Carter next door kept a stash of treats just for him, and the kids on the block would sprint over for belly rubs the second we stepped outside. But Linda? From day one, I caught her watching us from behind her spotless curtains, her eyes narrow and calculating. Linda lived in the biggest house at the end of the cul-de-sac, ruling the neighborhood as HOA president like it was her personal kingdom. She'd patrol the streets, clipboard in hand, jotting notes and measuring everything from mailboxes to grass blades. Emily once joked that Linda probably had a spreadsheet tracking everyone's lawnmower schedules, but I suspected she wasn't far off. The trouble started small. 3 weeks after we moved in, a citation appeared on our door. Max's leash was supposedly 6 inches too long. I measured its regulation length, down to the centimeter, but I shortened it anyway, not wanting to stir up drama in our new home. The next week, another citation claimed Max had been barking with aggressive intent during his morning walk. Max barely barks, and when he does, it's the excited yip of a dog chasing a squirrel. I asked our neighbors if they'd heard anything. They just laughed, saying Max was the quietest dog they'd ever met. Then came the rosebush incident. Linda's prized red roses lined her property, right up against the public sidewalk. One evening, Max's tail brushed the blooms as we passed, just the happy swish of a golden retriever's tail. Linda exploded out of her house like a missile, screeching, "That beast ruined my award-winning roses." She pointed at Max, who sat politely, wagging his tail and looking utterly confused. "He's not even sorry. Those roses cost $400. I inspected the flowers. Not a petal was out of place, not a leaf bent. But Linda was already snapping photos of her pristine roses, muttering about property damage and dangerous animals. The real breaking point hit on a chilly October morning. Max and I were strolling our usual route when Linda appeared on our lawn, dressed in a purple bathrobe, clutching her ever-present clipboard. As we walked by staying well within the public sidewalk, she let out a theatrical scream. "He's baring his fangs. He's threatening me," she wailed, stumbling back like she'd seen a wolf. I glanced at Max. His tongue was out, his tail wagging so hard his whole body wiggled. He was panting, the happy, open-mouthed grin of a dog enjoying his walk. "Ma'am, he's just panting," I said, keeping my voice steady. Dogs do that when they're happy or warm. He's not aggressive. But Linda was in full drama mode, clutching her chest and claiming she was traumatized. She stormed off, bathrobe flapping, vowing to file for legal protection from my size beast. I thought she was bluffing. I was wrong. 2 days later, the restraining order arrived. Max was banned from being within 50 feet of Linda's property, which, since her house sat at the corner of our street, meant we couldn't take our normal walks. We'd have to drive to another neighborhood just for Max to stretch his legs. The absurdity wasn't lost on our neighbors. Word spread fast, and soon the local Facebook group was ablaze with comments. A restraining order against a golden retriever, one neighbor posted. What's next? A lawsuit against the birds for singing too loud. A local blogger picked up the story, writing a hilarious piece titled "Local Dog Accused of Unauthorized Tail Wagging." But Linda doubled down. At the next HOA meeting, she unveiled a PowerPoint on dangerous animals in residential areas, proposing security cameras to track Max's every move. She even wanted neighbors to pay for a surveillance system to enforce the 50-foot rule. When she suggested fining anyone who let Max walk on their property, the room went silent. Linda had ruled the HOA for 8 years, and most people were too scared to challenge her. Then everything changed. The Thompsons, who lived 2 streets over, had a doorbell camera that recorded the sidewalk. On a hunch, they checked the footage from the day Linda claimed Max threatened her. What they found was jaw-dropping. The video showed Linda hiding behind a tree, waiting for us to approach. As we passed, she jumped out and sprayed something from a small bottle right into Max's face. Max flinched, shook his head, and sneezed, his mouth opening as he tried to shake off whatever she'd sprayed. That was the moment Linda claimed he'd bared his fangs. The Thompsons zoomed in on the bottle, white VY Nigar. Linda had deliberately sprayed VY Nigar, my dog, to provoke a reaction, then lied about his aggression. The footage was crystal clear, showing Max's gentle confusion and Linda's calculated cruelty. I took the VY to the police. The officer who'd served the restraining order watched it, shaking his head in disgust. That dog's got the patience of a saint, he said. Most animals would have snapped after getting VY Nigar in their face. This is animal abuse, plain and simple. Within hours, the VY was online, posted by furious neighbors. It went viral overnight, shared by animal rights groups, and picked up by national news. Max became an internet hero, with thousands praising his gentle response to being attacked. The local animal shelter shared the clip, captioning it, "This is what harassment looks like." The VY unleashed a flood of stories about Linda's reign of terror. Neighbors who'd stayed silent for years spoke up. She'd threatened the Lopez family with fines because their kids' chalk drawings were too bright. She'd reported old Mr. Kim's garden statues for violating some made-up rule. She'd even tried to ban colorful Christmas lights, insisting on tasteful white only. A clear pattern emerged. Linda wasn't a concerned neighbor. She was a bully wielding her HOA power to torment anyone who didn't bow to her. The police moved fast. On a Thursday morning, 3 squad cars rolled up to Linda's house. She was arrested for animal cruelty, filing a false police report, and harassment. As they led her away in handcuffs, she screamed about dangerous dogs and weak neighbors who can't handle strong leadership. The local news ran a segment called "Hero Dog Targeted by HOA Tyrant," with Max stealing the show. He sat calmly as the anchor petted him, even offering a paw shake that had viewers swooning. Linda's punishment was swift. She was conned Ted, sentenced to 6 months in jail, and fined $3,000. The HOA board kicked her out as president and banned her from any neighborhood role for a decade. The restraining order against Max was thrown out, never to be refiled. Max got a city certificate for community harmony, but the real win was his new role as the face of an animal welfare campaign called "Don't Judge a Dog by Its Smile." Billboards popped up with Max's happy face, and Linda, stuck in her cell, could do nothing but seethe. Looking back, it's wild how one woman's vendetta against a golden retriever brought a whole neighborhood together. Max didn't just clear his enemy, he exposed a tyrant and reminded us all to stand up to petty power trips. But it leaves me wondering, how many other Lindas are out there hiding behind rules and titles? Should HOAs have this much power over our lives? And what would you do if someone came after your pet with lies and cruelty? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if Max stole your heart, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.